Alright, back still in Chapter 9. We're talking about private membership recreation organizations. This is slide 26. Private membership recreation organizations. What you want to look at in that first slide is the second part, residents connected clubs. These are one of the ways that a private membership recreation organization exists. So if you're buying a house or you're looking to rent an apartment, you may be interested in the amenities that are provided. The amenities that are provided are only available to residents or those who are at the apartment, residing at the apartment complex or in the community of homes. And these amenities have gotten very popular, and it's exclusive. You can't, average Joe and Jane can't walk off the street and be part of your apartment complex or your new home development and utilize the services they're not paying for. This is a private membership recreation organization, and there have been private membership recreation-based organizations for years. And in the first part of the slide, it talks about continuing efforts to discriminate. I don't think that's a bit extreme there. What you have are commercially owned for-profit private clubs, and these have always existed. And yes, in the past, the rich have plenty of investments, and yes, they work diligently on those investments. However, they do not have to trade their time for money. So that means they have spare time on their hands, and many times they would develop a private membership club, and that would only be for certain types of individuals, i.e. their buddies. And so many folks have seen that as discrimination, as that's, if you can't invite, people are basically invited based on how much money they make, then that's some type of discrimination. Sure, they can make that argument. But that was basically in the past. We still see very, very few clubs these days, at least, that are out there in the public's eye. There may be some that no one knows about, and that could be happening, but most of the for-profit, commercially run clubs are open to everyone. For example, the Scottsdale Gun Club. If anybody is interested in shooting firearms, there is a privately owned club where you get membership, and then you can go in and you can utilize their services. Perfect example of a for-profit club with no discrimination. Moving on to slide 23. You have another type of private membership club, and those are vacation homes. Maybe your parents own, or yourself, you own a timeshare. And that's pretty exciting. You get to pay for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks out of the year. You can actually mortgage that. You have your timeshare. You're sharing a house with somebody else. That's private membership. You wouldn't want other random individuals living in that home with you or having access to that home. So there's exclusivity involved. Now there's also retirement villages. This is a great example of a private membership organization. Now there are communities where you have to be 55 and older, 65 and older, etc. They call them leisure villages because many times there are leisure activities associated with the living area. Probably the best, one of the most prominent examples of retirement communities, actually not Sun City, it's this place called Leisure World out in Mesa. And Leisure World's a pretty exciting place. I've been there. Lots of golf carts and lots of people that are retired, dressed in white, and participating in a variety of activities. Everything from wood shop to golfing, to tennis, to the clubhouse, to having all their meals there. They've got everything they need at Leisure World, including their own single-family house. So pretty exciting place when you're that age and you want things to do, but you don't want to be driving around in traffic and traveling like you used to when you were younger. Leisure World's a great place. Of course, so is Sun City West, and some of the other neighboring communities. So private membership recreation. Let's see if I made sure I got everything for the test. Private membership provides a social experience and a leisure activity. Private membership clubs provide a social experience and a leisure activity. Might be on the test. 4.8 million households own some type of vacation home. 4 million households own some type of vacation home. Pretty groovy. So let's see. We're going to move on to sports and tourism. And you're going to need, that's chapter 10. So we're moving into chapter 10 now. Sports and tourism. And so I'm bringing up the PowerPoint for myself here. And sports and tourism. You're just leaving for a second. Don't worry about it. And here we go. These are probably our two biggest players in the $74 billion industry, sports and tourism. So unfortunately I'm not going to be able to show my Brett Favre video because this is a flex class, which is a bummer. Anyway, here we are, slide 6, defining sports. What are sports? It's right there. It's pretty basic. Goal of achieving a reward, defeat of other participants. A lot of reasons why people participate in sports. Slide 7 is sports as popular recreation. It's the 25th biggest enterprise. That's pretty big. It's expanding, and sports is their own social institution. You know, you don't just play football. You're a football player, and that's completely different. And that's what that sports as a social institution means. There's all sorts of social components that surround you playing football or playing basketball, especially in high school. Patterns of sport involvement there. Tendency to divide. Teens and adults most actively associated with sports. Highest participation among that income level. Slide 9. Okay. Variable levels of competition. That is correct, because you can be in minor leagues versus major leagues. You can be intramurals, community-based recreation. You know, you can be playing ultimate frisbee, in Flagstaff at the community level, or you could be traveling the country and playing ultimate frisbee at kind of the highest community level you can, or you can be a professional sports player. There's many different levels. And because I'm sure there's a lot of you in class who felt like you could have joined the NFL or the WNBA, but it's okay. There's always the community level recreation where you can be a superstar. If we look at, let's see what we're going to look at here. I think we're going to look at slide 12. Slide 11 is interesting if you want to take a look at that. But I do have a couple things to mention here from the book. And so pay attention to this. You'll see this stuff on your test. So in 2002, big study, there was 70 billion spent on sporting goods. 70 billion spent on sporting goods. And I wanted to know if anyone knows what the most popular item was. It's the most popular sporting goods item. Since nobody can guess, because I'm in here talking to my computer, I will just give you the answer. 13.6 billion was spent on shoes. 13.6 billion was spent on athletic shoes. Do you believe that, 70 years ago, they didn't have special athletic shoes to the tune that they have now? People just dealt with what they had. But I know, shoes make it. Now, the shoes just nudged out slightly for first place. 13.5 billion was spent on pleasure boats. These are speed boats and fishing boats and boats not used as a house, or some primary mode of living, but these are for just having fun. And then lastly, number 3 comes $5.1 billion for bicycles and supplies, buying bicycles and supplies. Pretty interesting. Number 4, $3.9 billion for golf. And then lastly, $3.8 billion for exercise equipment. Everybody gets those Billy Blank workout videos for Christmas or a birthday, and the next thing you know, they're not being used. There's $3.8 billion for exercise equipment. And so continuing, there's a couple more things to mention here. One is with respect to income level. Participation in sports is usually about 50,000 to 74,000. Still different than what your slide says. As long as you have that, that general range, we're fine. Women were the most dominant people that purchased aerobic shoes and walking shoes, and then the group of 65 to 64 were the most interested in purchasing exercise equipment, fishing, and hunting gear. And the young people were most interested in purchasing sports equipment and skiing equipment. And so I think that'll be good, and we'll come back and do the rest here.